Did you know that 90% of Americans with a substance abuse problem started smoking, drinking, or using other drugs before the age of 18? Most drugs are easily accessible to people of all ages, and we need to resist that. Resist the urge and never try them. After informing you what my speech will be about today, I will be giving my first argument. According to drugabuse.gov, in an article called Understanding Drug Use and Addiction, accessed on April 7th, 2019, drugs should not be tried because they are very addictive. An opposing view of this says people who start earlier using drugs are more susceptible to having an addiction. So if older people start now, they're not going to get addicted. That's very not true. My rebuttal says most drugs affect the brain's reward circuit, allowing for dopamine to be released. Now, leaving you with that, let me proceed to my next argument. According to gatewayfoundation.org, in an article called Effects of Drug Abuse, accessed on April 7, 2019, drugs have only negative effects on the body, no positive effects at all. An opposing view says dopamine regulates emotions, motivation, and feelings of pleasure, which gives that high that you get when you do drugs. That high is not good. That's not positive at all, even though you may think it is. It only lasts for a short time. My rebuttal is major side effects include seizures, stroke, mental confusion, and brain damage anytime you use a drug. Lastly, but not least, I'll move on to my last argument, which is more of a solution to a drug problem. According to drugfree.org, in an article called Drug Prevention Tips for Every Age from Toddlers to Young Adults, accessed April 7, 2019. Drugs prevention is very important to apply on all ages because it helps stop future use. An opposing view is there's no point to inform preschoolers about drugs because they're either going to forget or not listen to you because they're so young and it's not relevant to them at that time. But my rebuttal is we need to steer clear of substances that exist in the real world. Fact versus fiction. This is not a cartoon, this is not a game, this is the real world. If you do drugs, you're gonna be sick, you're gonna be in the hospital. Like, people, they watch cartoons that have drugs, they're not gonna show the bad side of what really happens to them because they want to make it all happy, but that's not how it is. In conclusion, I've given you 2 arguments against doing drugs and 1 argument as a preventative measure, which are why drugs shouldn't be tried, negative effects on the body, and how to prevent early drug use. So today, I hope that I encouraged you to never use drugs, or if you have, encourage other people as to why they're not good to use. Drugs are not cool. This is real life. It's not a cartoon. So you will be in the hospital, not the people in the cartoons. Thank you.